Come on. Ugh. Alright, before we get into it, this video is just an overview of my setup for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm not selling anything or telling anyone what they should run. Always follow your local laws and stay safe. Also, just in case the ATF is watching, this is registered as an SBR. I just don't have it flipped over because I don't want my name or my general location out in the wild on YouTube. So this is registered, it's legal, everything's good to go. Don't worry about that. So here you can see I run rail covers pretty much everywhere where attachments aren't that my hand could be. It just gives you a really solid, consistent purchase on the gun no matter where your hands end up. On a shorter rifle like this, your support hand position could change depending on how you're shooting. So I just like having texture everywhere. Here's a closer look at the rail covers. You can see that texture. It's super helpful on hot days when your hands are sweaty or you're not wearing gloves and the rail is super cold. It's nice to have these rail covers here. All right, this is the Unity Tactical Control Pad. It controls my light and laser both. And as you can see, I have it placed right where my grip goes on the fore end with that would be my left hand. As you can see here, the light only comes on when the button is pressed down. The rear button operates the same way. Push the button down, laser comes on. If you do a double tap, laser comes on and stays on. Then you just push it once to turn it back off. As you can see, I use zip ties for the cable management. I'm not super worried about these zip ties melting from getting too hot. I wanted something that gave me momentary control when I need it, on top of a constant control without having to move my hand. My hollow sun laser here is both visible and IR. As you can see on the controls here, it can run on visible only, IR only. Currently, I don't have night vision, but when I bought this laser, I had high hopes, so I'm still keeping that prayer alive. This is one of the Surefire Scouts. When I was shopping for a light, I really wasn't thinking that I needed a light that was brighter than the sun. Accountability is the main reason you need a weapon light. You want to make sure you're shooting at what you're trying to shoot. You don't want to be just sending rounds off in the dark, especially if you have a wife and kids. Really, all I was looking for was a reliable way to positively identify stuff that I might be shooting at nighttime. So I also had an experience on my deployment to Afghanistan. As soon as we arrive in country, one of the big important things you do is to zero everything, do function checks on all your gear, equipment, especially your M4. Right when we got over there, we had a night range. As a dumb private, I showed up to night fires without any ear protection, and you can imagine how that went. I, of course, didn't say anything. I didn't want to be the idiot on deployment who ruins night fires for everyone else. I kept my mouth shut, didn't say a word. But for the next 2 days, all I could hear was ringing. So that's another reason I find silencers extremely important. If for any reason I had to shoot inside my house in an emergency self-defense situation, I don't want to go deaf. It might not only be one criminal. If you've been around YouTube for a while, you've probably seen criminals, they run in packs. After I send off the first shot, I want to audibly be aware of my surroundings, what's going on inside my house or wherever I'm at, and know exactly where I need to place the next shot, and the next shot, and the next shot. And that's a lot easier to do with the silencer. If you're outside, if you ever send a round off without hearing protection on, you know what I'm talking about. Also, this helps reduce some of the flash that's going to be hard to deal with in a nighttime situation where your eyes haven't adjusted to light. This is going to keep the whole room from lighting up. The moral of the story is a suppressor is going to help keep me from going deaf and keep me in the fight. So yeah, I like to run them. These Silencer Central suppressors, they are self-serviceable, but self-servicing them sucks. You know, there's a lot of buildup that gets in here. Cleaning them is just a pain in the butt. All the baffles inside of here are caked with carbon, and it's not easy to get off. They say to soak it and solve it, and that will help, but I haven't really noticed much of a help there. So it's a lot of scraping, digging carbon off of these baffles, and it's super time consuming. So that's the one negative thing I'd have to say about running suppressors. So this rifle and my other ARs have a toolless adjustable gas system with a turn dial. This is honestly one of my favorite features, and I think it's a must-have if you're running a silencer, especially in a location like this where the weather changes often. Being able to adjust your gas really matters when running a suppressor. So I've actually had cycling issues, even though this is a Daniel Defense. Believe it or not, I needed more gas at times. It gets super cold where I'm at, and I didn't want to dig for a tool or carry one in my pocket every time I come outside to shoot. Especially on the 12.5-inch build, gas tuning affects the reliability, the recoil, how much gas you're eating up. It's just good to be able to adjust it. Now for the Optic. The glass is super clear, it's awesome. Even before I got LASIK, shooting through this, the Trijicon Credo, it was like shooting with my prescription eyeglasses on. One big thing for me was that I didn't want the reticle to have to be turned on or battery operated to be operational. Most of the time I'm out here shooting during the day, so I don't really have to use it. So I chose one of the first focal plane models. That way my zero holds at every magnification level. These Dueck Defense offset iron sights I see as a must-have. The model I have is the tritium model, so I could use these iron sights at night. They light up, they glow. If you're not familiar with tritium, you don't need a battery. These just light up when it gets dark. Samson, shut up! Optics like this are nice to have, but it's even nicer to have some backups in case something like this fails. Here's an up close of the trigger. It's a Geisley trigger. I don't know if I have to say much about this. The reset's awesome, and the lighter pull keeps me from yanking my shots. A good trigger like this won't make you a better shooter, but it definitely won't hold you back from becoming one. So for the Fore Grip here, I went with the angled Fore Grip. Originally, that was because I had several ARs set up as pistols, and I couldn't run a vertical grip because of legal reasons. But even after that, I stuck with it because it works better with how I run the gun. Gives me a good solid grip while having access to the switch. With the vertical grip, I'd have to let go of my grip just to press these buttons, and that's not something I really wanted to do. So this is perfect for how I have the gun set up. So this stock is awesome. One cool bonus about this is the built-in battery storage. So these open up, you can fit some batteries in there. The main reason I chose this stock is for the cheek weld. With the Daniel Defense stock, I could never get comfortable behind the Optic. As you can see with this one, it's pretty wide and it's pretty comfortable for someone like me with high cheekbones. All right, something else I run on my firearms is this little strap here. It's holding the sling up. It's called a sentry strap. You can see it's just a magnet there. You could take it off and put it anywhere on the weapon. It's just Velcro that holds it on. I like those. It keeps the sling out of the way. When I have them up in the room on the wall mounts, I don't like just slings hanging everywhere. When I first bought these, I didn't know that it would work super well. But these magnets are, as you can see, they're pretty tough. So yeah, this is the sentry strap. All right, as a reminder, I do have a pretty cool video that you'll likely be interested in covering this Trijicon ACOG and Holosun 507C, so go check that out.